We're going to knock the hell out of inflation. We're going to use a thing that we have more of than anybody else. It's called liquid gold, oil and gas. And we're going to make America affordable again. We're going to give large tax cuts for workers, and we will, ready? No tax on tips. No tax on overtime. And no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors.
All right, there you have it. Mr. Trump in full stride. Joining us now, Art Laffer, former Reagan economist, co-author of The Trump Economic Miracle with Steve Moore, and the ultra-famous New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, also joining us. You know, I'm going to ask Claudia first. Claudia, so the Nobel Prize for Economics, okay, this is just, you can't make this stuff up. The Nobel Prize for Economics, Simon Johnson wins it. He's from MIT. He worked for the IMF. And in 2016, during the campaign, the presidential campaign, he predicted, right? This is MIT, IMF, very distinguished man. He predicted that if Donald Trump were elected, we'd have a stock market crash and a depression. That was his prediction. So, Claudia, a bunch of years later, he gets the Nobel Prize. Now, I campaigned and crusaded, and literally on this show and in print, and so did my pal Steve Moore. Art Laffer should have got it, all right? Not Simon Johnson or some goofball who makes terrible predictions. But what do you think? You're not a professional economist. I mean, how does this thing kind of happen? What do you think about that, Claudia?
You know, Larry, I do agree with you. I think Art Laffer should have won it. But this is the thing. You're talking about MIT. Someone who probably got 800s on his SATs, probably has a static view of the economy, not a dynamic view, and not a business owner, someone who has to make payroll and deal with all the ups and downs that go into a business every day. And that's what Trump is so good at, is seeing the entrepreneurial side of it. And one thing he mentioned that was so important, two of the most important things that you talk about on your show, Larry, number one is growth, but number two, and equally important, is energy. We have to get our energy back, because that is what's going to drive down prices. It's what's going to enable us to have growth. It's going to bring back our supply chains. It's going to make us dominant, our economy dominant, and we're going to project strength on the world stage and not be leveraged by these two-bit countries around the world that are dictatorships and authoritarian regimes. That is what's so critical about it.
I will bet you that this Simon Johnson would be part of the chorus of, the Green New Deal, let's get rid of fossil fuels. I bet you anything. He would not be part of another chorus that argues we need more fossil fuels, more natural gas, more nuclear power, and we just need to have more abundant electricity to meet our needs. Anyway, Arthur, it couldn't have been worse, Simon Johnson. But I don't want to get hung up on that. Claudia just took him out beautifully. I was hoping she would. Here's my next one. Okay, speaking of dummies and goofballs, the Wall Street Journal story. 50 economists, they have a Wall Street Journal survey. 50 economists are surveyed, and even more today believe that Donald Trump's economic policies are going to be higher inflation than Kamala Harris's policies. They had a little bit of an add-on the last time. This quarter, they've even upped it now. It's even more indicting. Trump is an inflationist, you understand? And Kamala Harris is not an inflationist. What do you make of that, Arthur?
Well, let me just say, Simon Johnson, I'm sure, is very, very qualified, and I don't want to say anything negative about him. He seems like a good economist.
You didn't. You didn't. Arthur, I said it, and Claudia said it. We spared you.
I know you did. I just want, but I want to say, these other economists don't know what they're saying about inflation and about what's going to be on the economy with Donald Trump. They think that tax cuts are inflationary. They think that spending cuts reduce growth. That's all not true. Government spending is taxation. It really is. And how you collect your taxes also matters. And all the proposals I've seen from Donald Trump, although they are election campaign promises, they're also damn good economics, Larry. No taxes on tips. Why should you ever spend more money collecting $1 of taxes than the amount of taxes you do? You can't get the money from those people in the tips. And that's a very smart thing to do, is be efficient on your use of collection resources and never spend more than the amount of taxes you collect. You always want to cut taxes on the margin. That's where you have tax eliminate taxes on overtime, which lowers the marginal tax rate, really is a super energizer of economic growth. Another one is the SALT. Pull back on the SALT deductions, allow more deductions, because those people are the productive people. I don't like it from Tennessee because we don't have a lot of deductions here, but it surely does energize the most productive in the states like New York, Illinois, and California there. And then the other one on foreign nationals, which I do love what Trump does, is our people are at a huge disadvantage in their competition with people in places like Hong Kong and other places. It is double taxation. I know the Wall Street Journal said it wasn't, but it is double taxation. It's not double taxation from the standpoint of American taxes, but it's double taxation for from the standpoint of where they work. They not only pay fully on their taxes, but then they also have to pay additional taxes in the U.S. Yes, I know they get a credit for the foreign ones, but they are taxed at a much higher rate than the other people in the places they work. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Auto loans, interest deductions on auto loans are perfectly logical. If you tax interest income, you should deduct interest expense. That's why we have a household deduction. It's not a tax loophole. It's the furthest thing from it. It's the correct way to tax. You should not tax interest on borrowings for homes, and you should not tax it for autos.
Let me get back. I want to get back to Claudia because, Claudia, one of the, on this inflation issue, one of the biggest things, I think, is tariffs. The article in the journal cites people saying studies, quote unquote, they don't show the study, but studies show that rising tariffs will cause rising inflation. Now, we saw in Mr. Trump's first term, we saw a huge increase in China tariffs. I was very much a part of the China team that imposed them under Bob Lighthizer. They didn't cause any inflation. Tariffs mean you have to cut your profit margins to sell goods, otherwise consumers will boycott it. In most cases, it was China who had to cut their profit margins in order to sell in the United States in the face of higher tariffs. And I don't understand a policy of trade reciprocity, which basically says, if you're unfair to us, we have to be unfair to you. But if you're fair to us and you cut your tariffs, we'll cut our tariffs. I don't see how in the world that can be inflationary. I don't understand it. I'll give you a shot at it because, I mean, I don't understand it. I see this everywhere. Tariffs are inherently inflationary, and I don't see the evidence for it.
You know, Larry, you have a lot there, but if the tariffs are so bad, why did the Biden administration leave them in place? They're still there, and the problem is that we were facing unfair competition overseas, which is something that Art just referred to, is like, how can we continue to burden and hurt our American companies that are trading overseas that are bringing their profits back? Something you also did in that Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was that you actually had a repatriation amount that brought thousands of jobs, tens of thousands of jobs, and billions of dollars. I think it was over $300 billion back into our economy that went right to the U.S. Treasury. And they never talk about the growth. And we talk about the inflation rate being so low under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act and President Trump. Right now, we have flooded this market with cash between the Inflation Reduction Act, the American Rescue Plan, and we have given all these subsidies out to green energy. I mean, can you imagine, Larry, if we decided to give Exxon and Mobil and Shell in the old days, we were going to pay for their gas stations so that they could sell gas? I mean, this is the responsibility of these green energy companies. They need to do that. We have wasted so much in taxpayer dollars, which has created inflation, which is the cruelest tax on consumers. It is the most flagrant and cruelest. And I have to tell you, I did get a chance to meet with the Argentinian president, Milei, and he agreed with me. Inflation is the cruelest thing that you can do. And he does not believe in gradualism, Larry. So he would agree with you. You know, pull the Band-Aid off, make sure that we are allowing our economy to explode and grow. We are not going to cut down deficits without actually growing the economy, and growth and energy are the key things. You know all that. This is preaching to the choir with you two.
I'm just saying, you know, a lot of this boils down to this simple notion. If government somehow, in the minds of these mainstream thinkers, if government does it, it's not inflationary. If an individual private person does it, it is. Now, I don't know who came up with that damn fool theory, but they ought to go back and read Art Laffer or Milton Friedman or Robert Mundell or other like that. If I spend my own money, it's bad, but if the government spends it, it's good. That is a crazy notion. We'll leave it for another time so you two can tee off on that one. But that's what it boils down to. Government is good and blessed. Individuals are all greedy and evil. I got to get out. Art Laffer, Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, thanks ever so much to both of you.